Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. A powerful flame spread over Xiao Yan's palm as it was thrown forward. It unceremoniously slammed toward Hanfeng's face. With just you. An icy-cold smile rose on Hanfeng's face. He looked at the powerful heavenly flame on Xiao Yan's palm, and the corner of his mouth widened. I have heard that you have merged a couple of heavenly flames. Although this might be powerful in the eyes of others, it is not worth mentioning in front of me. Hanfeng placed his palms together as he coldly laughed. His right palm was suddenly swung forward. He did not dodge. Instead, his right palm made firm contact with Xiao Yan's palm. Bang! A powerful energy ripple swept apart as both palms made contact. It forcefully pushed back the neighboring two banshings, as space itself became a lot more distorted. This merged heavenly flames is the what you are so proud of. Today, I will show you how feeble it actually is. Hanfeng laughed a sinister and cold laugh. An extremely mysterious purple-black light suddenly flashed across those pure black eyes. An unusual devouring strength erupted from his palm, and Xiao Yang suddenly discovered that the heavenly flame on his palm was being absorbed into Hanfeng's body a little at a time. Moreover, these heavenly flames had lost contact with his senses after entering Hanfeng's body. This fellow is indeed a little strange. This devouring caused Xiao Yang's heart to feel slightly startled. His hand immediately shook as he resolutely withdrew his palm. His right foot kicked the black light pillar with lightning-like speed and sent it flying into the sky. At the same time, his expression had become stern. The do qi in his body crazily surged like an ocean wave. Many extremely powerful do skills were unceremoniously sent flying toward Hanfeng. Although Hanfeng was only an advanced 2-star do xing, this fellow was even more dangerous than the deputy chief of the Hall of Souls in Xiao Yang's eyes. Flame-splitting tsunami. God Seal skill. 4-seal merger. Bang bang. Splitting wind tiger raw palm. Black collapsing force. Hanfeng did not feel the slightest fear when these sharp attacks erupted from Xiao Yang at this moment. Not only did he not withdraw, he instead unleashed the do qi within his body to its limits. Many extremely powerful high-class do skills were unleashed. They spread with shocking speed. In an instant, energy erupted in the sky, and the earth-shaking do skills caused many to be quietly shocked. A purple-brown sea of flames appeared in the sky. All the remaining experts began to flee as this sea of fire spread. Only Xiao Yang and Hanfeng continued to remain entangled within this sea of flames. Xiao Yang was becoming more fierce through fighting with the help of the fire's might, but Hanfeng did not fall to a disadvantage. That terrifying sea of flames did not pose an obstruction to him. That Xiao Yang does indeed have some ability. He is able to battle Hanfeng equally. The chief of the Hall of Souls looked at the two, who had engaged in an extremely intense battle. He slightly frowned. Although Hanfeng was merely an advanced 2-star do xing, his fighting strength was similar to a 3-star do xing. Additionally, the do skills he practiced were all the top do skills of the Han clan, significantly raising his fighting strength. He had not expected Xiao Yang to be able to fight Hanfeng by relying on his initial 2-star do xing strength. Give me a little more time, and I will be able to fight again. At that time, there is no need to. The eyes of the chief of the Hall of Souls rapidly flashed. Finally, he looked at the sky above the sea of fire. A black light pillar was floating at that spot, emitting a faint luster. It seemed to possess a demonic force that caused one to feel a crazy impulse. This time around, my Han clan will definitely obtain the purifying demonic lotus flame. The chief of the Hall of Souls clenched his fist and let out a low roar within his heart. Yellow spring finger. Yellow spring palm. The grave-looking Xiao Yang flashed in the sky and appeared above Hanfeng. The finger and palm were unleashed simultaneously as a huge energy finger and palm broke through the air. They ruthlessly rushed toward Hanfeng below. Futile actions. However, Hanfeng coldly smiled and shook his head when he saw Xiao Yang's ferocious attack. He pressed his finger against the empty space as two thumb-sized purple-black light rays suddenly erupted from his finger. These rays of light collided with the yellow spring finger and yellow spring palm. No energy explosions sounded upon contact. The two weak light rays simply eroded the yellow spring finger and yellow spring palm in an instant. Have it been devoured? Xiao Yang's eyes became cold after sensing this devouring strength. After this exchange of blows, he began to gain an understanding of Hanfeng. There seemed to be something within this person's body that possessed the mysterious effect of devouring many things. Even some of the heavenly flame within his body would be swallowed if he was not careful. If you only possess these techniques, this battle can end now. Hanfeng slowly lifted his head. Those pure black eyes had gained a purple-black light in them. A symbol slowly appeared on his brow. Hanfeng's aura soared the moment the clan tattoo appeared. In the blink of an eye, his aura had suddenly broken through to the third star of the Doxing class. A thought passed through Xiao Yang's heart after seeing Hanfeng summon his clan tattoo. Xiao Yang's vast and mighty spiritual strength lingering on his brow quietly surged. A lifelike body slowly appeared beside him. Spiritual avatar. Hanfeng's eyes hardened after seeing this spiritual avatar form beside Xiao Yang. The strength of this spiritual avatar was not weaker than Xiao Yang himself. Moreover, the spiritual strength that Xiao Yang possessed was the only aspect in which he felt inferior. It was likely that no one other than the chief of the Hall of Souls at his peak could compare with Xiao Yang's perfect heavenly state spiritual strength. Even the core genius of the Han clan was no exception. 5-ring flame expelling technique. Xiao Yang rushed high into the air after the spiritual avatar appeared. Clusters of heavenly flames surged out of his body. After which, they transformed into enormous fire spirits and swiftly formed the 5-ring flame expelling formation. Xiao Yang's spiritual avatar formed numerous hand seals with lightning-like speed with a grave expression, while Xiao Yang's actual body unleashed a powerful strike. Xiao Yang's spiritual body suddenly swelled a couple thousand feet in size as a 10,000-foot large spiritual illusion surfaced on his body. Yellow Spring Divine Anger. Moreover, this was the Yellow Spring Divine Anger unleashed by Xiao Yang's spiritual avatar. Its might was even more powerful than when it was unleashed by Xiao Yang's body. The sea of flames spread across the entire sky. An enormous 5-colored fire plate slowly rotated as a wild and violent energy gathered within it. A solemnness surged onto Hanfeng's face when faced with Xiao Yang's attack. A purple-black Do Qi began to surge onto the surface of his body. Do Qi rose and a fire seedling seemed to have suddenly flashed by. The surrounding experts hurriedly pulled back after having sensed the battle atmosphere of this world. They were afraid of getting implicated by the assault. 5-ring flame expelling plate. Xiao Yang's expression was icy cold as he stood in the sky. His finger suddenly pointed at Hanfeng below. A couple thousand-foot large fire plate that was above his head suddenly whistled down. Space itself cracked an inch at a time as it traveled. Even the magma sea region tens of thousands of feet below forcefully split apart, until a 10,000-foot wide gully was formed. Yellow Spring Divine Anger. The illusory figure beside the spiritual avatar suddenly opened its mouth the moment the fire plate whistled down. An earth-shaking spiritual attack suddenly rushed forward. Heaven-swallowing mirror. The grave expression on Hanfeng's face became more dense when he sensed this terrifying attack. A mouthful of purple-black light was spat out of his mouth. It immediately transformed into a purple-black mirror-like light curtain, which spread in front of him with lightning-like speed. Everything that touched this purple-black light curtain, regardless of whether it was a heavenly flame or energy, was completely devoured in an instant. The earth-shaking attacks from both parties suddenly collided in front of many stunned eyes. No brilliant energy sparks or earth-shaking explosions appeared. Only a cruel momentary erosion existed. The flame on the 5-colored fire plate became dim at a speed visible to the naked eye upon contact with the purple-black light curtain, but an extremely intense energy fluctuation formed on the purple-black light curtain. The fluctuations rapidly spread, and finally covered the entire light curtain. That sonic spiritual attack quickly arrived behind the fire plate. It ruthlessly crashed into the light curtain in waves. Humph! Hanfeng's body shook after facing such a terrifying attack. A muffled groan was emitted from his throat. He had not expected Xiao Yan's attack to be this unexpectedly powerful. As this wild and violent energy strike came down, the devouring strength of the sky-devouring mirror could not be fully unleashed. Break eye. Xiao Yan glanced at the continuous ripples forming on the sky-devouring mirror from the sky. His body moved, and he merged with his spiritual avatar. The huge illusory figure, which was about to vanish, once again widened its mouth and emitted a soul-stirring spiritual sonic wave. The spiritual assault arrived in the blink of an eye. Hanfeng's expression became a lot uglier at this moment. His toes pressed against empty space while his body hurried back. At the same time, the sky-devouring mirror shattered. Ha ha, thank you for allowing me to win. Xiao Yan faced the sky and laughed out loud after forcing Hanfeng back. His body moved, and he once again appeared in front of the black light pillar. He reached out with his large hand and grabbed the light pillar in it. Purifying demonic lotus flame, you are mine. Xiao Yan reached out with his hand in front of the many pairs of eyes while he stood in the sky. Subsequently, he firmly grabbed the black light pillar with his hand. The moment his hand touched the light pillar, he was able to sense a slight heartbeat being emitted from within. This heartbeat seemed as though there was a living creature within the light pillar. This purifying demonic lotus flame has actually reached such a level. It is really no different than an ordinary human. Surprise flashed across Xiao Yan's heart, as he sensed the heartbeat being emitted from the purifying demonic lotus flame sealed in the light pillar. He was about to quickly turn around and withdraw when the surrounding space suddenly began to fluctuate. A figure broke out of this space. His large hand was extended and all of Xiao Yan's paths of retreat were sealed. The purifying demonic lotus flame is not something that you can take. Xiao Yan's heart quivered after hearing this dense cry appear beside his ear. Chief of the Hall of Souls. This fellow has recovered really quickly. Xiao Yan swiftly lifted his head while feeling shocked. He could see the Chief of the Hall of Souls pouncing over like an enormous eagle. A dark black doe chi quietly gathered on his hand before it ruthlessly grabbed toward Xiao Yan's head. From the looks of it, he was intent on delivering a fatal strike. The speed of the Chief of the Hall of Souls was as quick as lightning. Adding to the stillness of the surrounding space, Xiao Yan was unable to dodge at this moment. There is no demonic flame, but there is a fire lotus. I shall give it to you. Xiao Yan did not panic at this critical moment. His many years of training had allowed him to experience all sorts of situations. It was impossible for him to lose himself to panic, because of the Chief of the Hall of Souls. His body pulled back, while an extermination-like energy fluctuation suddenly appeared from his sleeve. Xiao Yan's sleeve was suddenly turned into dust due to this fluctuation. A five-colored fire lotus appeared in Xiao Yan's palm. The five-colored fire lotus was an extermination fire lotus made up of 5 genuine heavenly flames. Xiao Yan did not slight an opponent as strong as the Chief of the Hall of Souls. He had used his strongest attack as his first strike. It was fortunate that Xiao Yan's strength had soared. Otherwise, he would not have been able to perfectly merge 5 types of heavenly flames in such a short amount of time. After the fire lotus was formed, Xiao Yan's expression remained indifferent as he stared at the rapidly growing human figure in front of his eyes. At this moment, his heart had become unusually calm. The lightning-fast figure of the Chief of the Hall of Soul gradually became clear in his eyes. I'll give it to you. The Chief of the Hall of Souls was so fast that it was terrifying. In a flash, he had appeared in front of Xiao Yan. At this moment, Xiao Yan's body tensed like a pulled bow. It erupted in an instant and the extermination fire lotus in his hand was thrown in front of the Hall Chief. Explode. A ruthlessness flashed across Xiao Yan's eyes as he tossed the fire lotus out. He did not pull back. Instead, he exploded the extermination fire lotus. The speed of the Chief of the Hall of Souls was too quick. As long as the chief of the Hall of Souls was given the time to catch his breath, he might be able to escape the area where the fire lotus was the strongest. Lunatic. Xiao Yan's act of risking it all caused the chief of the Hall of Souls to furiously curse. His body finally revealed some signs of sluggishness, as it suddenly shot back. However, the fire lotus exploded while he did. Bang! A loud shocking sound caused one's ears to become momentarily deaf, as it echoed through the distant sky. The sky seemed to have sank into a mysterious silence after that extremely powerful noise was emitted. A 10,000-foot large firestorm swept over the sky. One side of the storm was connected to the sea of magma below while the other extended to the sky itself. It seemed as though space itself had emitted a cracking sound from not being able to bear the strength of the rotating storm. Many stunned eyes watched this storm. They were as tiny as ants beneath this large and overbearing firestorm. This person, Hanfeng's expression was a little grave as he stared at this firestorm. Even at his full strength, he might not be able to receive such a terrifying attack. Will anything happen to the Hall Chief? The Deputy Hall Chief of the Hall of Souls flashed down and asked in a deep voice. The strength from the merger of heavenly flames might be quite strong, but Xiao Yan's actual strength is far too weak. It will not be an easy matter to kill the Hall Chief. Hanfeng faintly replied. Prepare yourself. We will immediately act and snatch the purifying demonic lotus flame once we have the opportunity to do so. The Deputy Chief of the Hall of Souls nodded. His eyes observed the sky with caution. The enormous firestorm raged for 10 minutes before it gradually scattered. 100,000-foot large, seemingly bottomless pit appeared in the sea of magma below after the storm scattered. Looking from a distance, it appeared like the large mouth of an unfathomable demon. The space a short distance away became distorted after the firestorm disappeared. Two figures appeared. One was a somewhat pale Xiao Yan, while the other was Ziyang. You are really too crazy. If you ended up getting caught in it, you would also have been destroyed by the fire lotus. Ziyang parted a lock of purple hair in front of her forehead, as she glared at Xiao Yan and furiously chided him. Xiao Yan smiled, but he did not say anything. He lifted his head and scanned the spot where the firestorm had disappeared. There was a human figure stepping through the empty air and slowly walking away from that spot. He is indeed not dead, huh? Xiao Yan involuntarily shook his head upon seeing this human figure. He appeared somewhat disappointed. No wonder you are someone who has managed to cause my Hall of Souls to repeatedly fail. You do deserve to be looked at in a better light. The human figure slowly walked out of the smoke and revealed a pale face. That figure was surprisingly the chief of the Hall of Souls. He had managed to survive the extermination fire lotus, but from the hint of blood on the corner of his mouth, he was not in a good state after suffering such a fire lotus strike. The expressions of Zun's group changed when they saw that the chief of the Hall of Souls was still alive. They quickly moved their bodies and surrounded Xiao Yan. Their eyes cautiously stared at the Hall Chief in the process. Do the both of you think that you have fully grasped my strength when we cooperated earlier? If that is really the case, the both of you might perhaps be shocked now. The chief of the Hall of Souls glanced at Zun's group. After which, his eyes paused on both Ziyang and Jiyu Nanhai. He gave a strange smile before lifting his hands and gently forming a seal. Following the formation of this hand seal, the aura of the Hall Chief suddenly soared in front of many shocked pairs of eyes. Within a short dozen-plus seconds, he had broken through the barrier of the advanced 4th star of the Doxing class, and vaguely reached the initial 5th star of the Doxing class. 5-star Doxing. The expression of Xiao Yan's group immediately became ugly upon sensing the aura of the Chief of the Hall of Souls, which had suddenly become powerful. This Hall Chief had been hiding his strength. You dare to intervene even after reaching the 5th star of the Doxing class. Looks like you have treated the agreement between the ancient clans as nothing, Jiyu Nanhai spoke in a deep voice. If the Chief of the Hall of Souls had merely been an advanced 4-star Doxing, there was no need to fear him if he cooperated with Ziyang. However, if the other party was a 5-star Doxing, the both of them would have little chance of a victory. Ha ha! I have merely luckily taken half a step into the 5th star of the Doxing class. Honestly speaking, I am not really a 5-star Doshing. Hence, the agreement has not been broken, the chief of the Hall of Souls faintly smiled. After which, he stepped through empty space without uttering any unnecessary words, as he slowly walked toward Xiao Yang's group. Hand over the demonic flame essence. In your dreams. Zi Yang's eyes were slightly cold. She took a step forward and golden light surged. It agglomerated into a large golden dragon that wildly shot toward the chief of the Hall of Souls. Shatter. However, the chief of the Hall of Souls slowly shook his head when he sensed Zi Yang's attack. He pressed his finger gently against the air. One saw the big golden dragon burst apart when it was 100 feet in front of him. Humph! Zi Yang softly moaned and staggered back since she had a connection to the exploding golden dragon. Everyone involuntarily felt their expressions change when they saw Zi Yang suffer a serious injury from just one strike. The gap between a 5-star Doshing and an advanced 4-star Doshing was this wide. If this had occurred earlier, the chief of the Hall of Souls would not have been able to defeat Zi Yang with such ease. Both Zi Yang and I are exhausted. It seems that this fellow has been able to recover extremely quickly. Even if both Zi Yang and I are to work together, we will still not be a match for him. Jiyu Nanhai stated in a deep voice. Although an ancient void dragon is extremely powerful, attempting to challenge someone of a high level is difficult. Hand over the demonic flame essence. This chief shall allow all of you to leave in peace on account of our cooperation earlier. The chief of the Hall of Souls placed both of his hands behind him. Hanfeng and the deputy hall chief had rushed behind him. Their eyes were sinister as they stared at Xiao Yang's group. Xiao Yang's eyes flickered. Veins appeared on his arm as he tightened his grip on the black light pillar. The chief of the Hall of Souls was too strong. Even using the extermination fire lotus had not seriously injured him, but it was impossible for Xiao Yang to abandon the demon flame essence. I have long since heard that you are as cunning as a fox. However, this chief will not give you an opportunity to escape today. The chief of the Hall of Souls merely laughed while Xiao Yang's eyes flashed. He suddenly stepped through empty air as his body slipped by a couple of people in a ghost-like fashion. He appeared in front of Xiao Yang as his palm reached for the top of Xiao Yang's head. Young fellow, die. The chief of the Hall of Souls unleashed his full strength with this attack. An ordinary person only saw space fluctuate before the hand of the hall chief was only an inch away from the top of Xiao Yang's head. How can my descendant be killed, just because you say so? A skinny hand suddenly appeared above Xiao Yang's head just as the chief of the Hall of Souls was about to grab Xiao Yang. A finger was flicked and the hand of the hall chief was sent flying. At the same time, a somewhat hoarse voice slowly echoed across the Ri. That palm, which originally had no problem striking Xiao Yang, ended up experiencing an unexpected situation. The expression of the chief of the Hall of Soul became gloomy. His eyes glanced at the spot behind Xiao Yang. A person in ordinary clothes was quietly standing at that spot. This person appeared extremely ordinary, but his aura was strange and unfathomable, causing one to have difficulty guessing his exact strength. Who are you? The chief of the Hall of Souls revealed dark and solemn eyes while he cried out. Although he possessed a high position within the Han clan, the era when Xiao Xian was alive far too long ago. Hence, it was impossible for him to recognize the person in front of him as the blood axe Xiao Chen, who had been quite renowned in the Xiao clan back then. Ancestor Xiao Chen. Xiao Yang quickly recovered. He quietly sighed in relief after Xiao Chen finally intervened. This ancestor of the Xiao clan had not fought ever since he had escaped the illusion. He merely hid by the side regardless of the intense battles Xiao Yang fought. He would only intervene when Xiao Yang was truly facing a critical moment of life and death. Xiao Chen waved his hand. His character was quiet and eccentric. He was unwilling to say much at this moment. All he did was lift his foot and slowly walk in front of Xiao Yang. His eyes stared at the chief of the Hall of Soul on the other side before he asked in a hoarse voice, "He is a member of the Han clan, right?" Xiao Yang slightly nodded. "In that case, I'll just kill him." Xiao Yang felt awed in his heart after hearing Xiao Chen's low and deep voice. His eyes were a little strange as he glanced at Xiao Chen's back. Only at this moment did he discover that he had never truly been able to see through the actual strength of this ancestor. Although Xiao Chen had been able to defeat Zi Yang and Jiyu Nanhai while in the illusion, he appeared to have barely been able to defeat them. Based on Xiao Yang could infer, Xiao Chen should be an advanced 4-star Do Xing. Even if he was a little stronger, it was likely that he was only an initial 5-star Do Xing. But after Xiao Chen's words escaped his mouth, Xiao Yang finally realized that his guess had been a little on the low side. A couple thousand years of being imprisoned in the illusion. Even if he could not train normally during this long period of time, the little accumulations of achievements, like how dripping water can eventually erode through a stone, would still be enough to shock people. Looks like Ancestor Xiao Chen possesses some confidence since he dares to utter these words. You are a member of the Xiao clan. The chief of the Hall of Souls narrowed his eyes as he stared at Xiao Chen. A moment later, he suddenly recalled the words Xiao Yang had spoke earlier. His eyes abruptly shrank, while his tone was filled with disbelief. How can it be possible? The Xiao clan has already declined. How can it still possess an elite Do Xing? From Xiao Chen's appearance, it was obvious that he had not simply managed to train to this level within a short few decades like Xiao Yang. In that case, he had definitely existed for a long time. Why was it that the Han clan did not possess any information on him? Xiao Yang's expression did not show the slightest sign of being affected when he saw the hall chief's shock. His feet merely stepped through the air as he advanced forward. With every step he took, his aura soared like a churning wave. It rose higher and higher as he became even stronger. Intermediate 4-star, advanced 4-star, intermediate 5-star. Xiao Yang and the others revealed surprise as they stared at Xiao Chen's back. Xiao Chen's aura had broken through the 4th star of the Do Xing class within a couple of breaths' time, and had reached the intermediate 5th star of the Do Xing class. This strength was a level stronger than the chief of the Hall of Souls. Who exactly are you? A change finally appeared on the expression of the chief of the Hall of Souls after sensing Xiao Chen's terrifying aura. He let out a stern cry as Hanfeng and the deputy hall chief of the Hall of Souls rushed over from behind him. Their eyes revealed a changing expression as they stared at Xiao Chen. They had clearly started to panic because of this sudden unexpected change. No wonder Ancestor Xiao Chen has been able to endure in the illusion of the purifying demonic lotus flame for so many years. His strength has actually reached such a level. A joy flashed across Xiao Yang's eyes as he muttered. You are really irritating. Xiao Chen merely frowned when he heard the chief of the Hall of Souls' stern cry. He clenched his hand in the empty space in front of him, and a large blood-colored object formed in his hand. In the blink of an eye, this object turned into a giant blood-colored axe. He rotated his hand and the blood-colored axe tore through the air in an instant. It was accompanied by waves of sonic booms as it furiously hacked at the hall chief's group below with lightning-like speed. Quick, withdraw. The expression of the chief of the Hall of Souls changed when he saw Xiao Chen attacked. He waved his sleeve and forced back Hanfeng and the deputy hall chief. After which, his mouth swelled and a 5-foot-large, black light ball swiftly shot out of his mouth. Waves of miserable screeches were emitted from this ball of light, as though countless of souls were devouring each other within it. The blood-colored figure flashed in the sky. Everyone saw a huge blood-colored axe appear above the black light ball, which had just been spat out of the mouth of the chief of the Hall of Souls. A faint voice soon rang out. One could see a bloody line cut through the dark black light ball. At which, a bam sounded and it slowly cracked into two. The black light ball had yet to even explode when it was slashed into two by the enormous blood-colored axe. The chief of the Hall of Souls spat out a mouthful of blood. His expression became a little weak as he hurriedly withdrew with a pale face. Xiao Chen's attack was unbelievably sharp. It seemed as though the world would split under the edge of the blood-colored axe. That overbearing aura caused one's heart to tremble. 3 sky-breaking axe. An axe gently slashed the chief of the Hall of Souls' attack apart. Xiao Chen did not hold back. He took 2 steps forward without uttering a word. The large blood-colored axe in his hand was slashed forward 3 times with a swoosh sound. The 3 axe attacks merged together, and an ordinary person could only see a red light flash across the sky with their naked eyes. Only experts, like the chief of the Hall of Souls, could clearly see 3 bright red, bloody lines rushing through the sky. They arrived in front of him almost instantly, with an extremely terrifying speed. The 3 blood lines appeared weak, but the chief of the Hall of Souls could sense an extreme danger from them. Spiritual barrier technique. The body of the Hall chief trembled because of this danger. His soul surfaced from his brow, and the arms of his soul strangely exploded. Black clouds suddenly surged from all directions, and blotted out the sun the moment A, B, C both of his spiritual arms exploded. This almost endless sky seemed to have been saturated by a black fog in the blink of an eye. Countless numbers of sharp spiritual waves spread from the black fog. It appeared like a demonic sound that crazily invaded the depths of everyone's mind. Bang, bang, bang. 3 bloody lines tore through the many layers of black clouds. As the first bloody line broke into the clouds, many ripples began to swiftly form on it. Within a short instant, the first bloody line was forcefully scattered. Even the second bloody line had vaguely become visible. Split. A black fog spread as a sudden hoarse voice slowly gave a command. Soon after, layers of black clouds suddenly burst apart before a bloody line rushed out with lightning-like speed. Finally, it shot into a certain part of the black cloud with shocking speed. The sound of a mouthful of fresh blood being thrown up was emitted as the bloody line shot into a specific region. Soon after, the black clouds that permeated the sky stilled and swiftly withdrew at a speed visible to the naked eye. Everyone's could see the sky when the black clouds withdrew. They quickly looked over and saw the chief of the Hall of Souls' body covered in blood. He stood trembling a short distance away. A terrifying wound had appeared from his shoulder to his abdomen. One could even see moving internal organs inside his body. Clearly, that strike from earlier had seriously injured the chief of the Hall of Souls. Xiao Chen displayed an indifferent expression as he glanced at the chief of the Hall of Souls, but there was some surprise in his eyes. Clearly, he had not expected the Hall chief to survive. An unknown number of experts had fallen to this strike back in his era. The chief of the Hall of Souls revealed ferocious and dense eyes as he stared at Xiao Chen. He hurriedly took out a couple of jade bottles from his storage ring. After which, he applied the medicinal liquid inside to his wound, causing a sizzling white fog to rise. Both of his hands rapidly formed a seal. A black light curtain suddenly appeared and imprisoned both Xiao Chen and him. Old Mo, it is time to intervene after having watched the show for such a long time, right? The chief of the Hall of Souls suddenly cried out, after having created the black light prison. Xiao Yan and the others revealed a sudden change in expression after hearing the words of the chief of the Hall of Souls. This Hun clan had hidden an expert in this place. Hun Mieshing, you are really a disappointment. A low elderly sigh finally sounded while Xiao Yang's group swept their eyes around. Xiao Yang suddenly turned his head. His eyes landed on a group of people a short distance away. A grey-clothed old man, whose strength had merely reached the high-level Banshing class, shook his head. He slowly stepped forward with a face full of disappointment. Some changes occurred on his face as a pair of long black eyebrows were lowered, giving him an extremely mysterious appearance. Xiao Yang had roughly glanced over this old man amid the chaotic battle earlier, but the old man had been chased by a fire slave until he was forced to flee in all directions. Hence, Xiao Yang had not paid much attention to him, yet he had never expected this ordinary old man to hide his strength so well. Old man Hun Mo. You are here. Does your Hun clan really plan on breaking the agreement? Jiyu Nanhai and the elders from the other ancient clans revealed extremely ugly expressions as they looked at this black-eyebrowed old man. Their eyes vaguely contained some fear. The agreement is nothing when it comes to the demonic flame essence. This old black-eyebrowed man, who was called Old Man Hun Mo, smiled. His eyes swept over Xiao Yang's group, but he did not attack. Instead, he softly sighed and shifted his eyes to the distant empty space. He inquired, Old demon from the small pill tower, Why are you still hiding yourself now that this old man has shown himself? A. Is there a sun in this magma realm? B. More like a common expression the author uses without considering the context. C. The author does that quite often. This video will end here.